Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to you all, and I welcome you to today's class. So sorry, we had a bit of network issues. These days, the network are so not good. But anyway, we still have to move on with what we have to do. So today is another Tuesday, and we are here to bring you another live class. And today, sorry, my name is Ekia Safo, and I welcome you to the Pick Parent Academy. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and subscribe now. And remember, you can share the link to other parents to also join your friends, your family, whoever this class will be of help to. Kindly share to them. So today we are going to talk about why you you overreact whenever you get triggered. It's not your fault, as we always say. There are so many things that are responsible for that, and it is our responsibility as parents to take charge and heal. So today I want to, without wasting much time, let me invite my friend on stage so that we can go ahead with today's class. Yeah, hello sis, I welcome you. Please, you can start. You can start.
Hello, sis. I'm
Hello
so,
sis.
so, so sorry for. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm saying I'm sorry for the delay.
It's fine,
I
sis.
wish I
Myself,
could.
I had network issues as well. It was so bad.
Okay.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
But I think we are good to go now.
Yes. 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 Okay. Hello, everybody. It's nice to be here once again, and I'm thrilled to be here because we have a lot of work to do as parents, not only as parents, but as individuals. Okay, without wasting our time, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about how to reparent ourselves, right? It's quite a broad topic, and one of the ways we can do that is the topic we are treating today, right? Why you overreact when, like say, triggers are what we cannot avoid them. Okay, there's no way we can avoid our triggers. They come, but the thing is that how do we handle our triggers? How do we handle them when they show up? Because these triggers can be, our parents, can be our um our co-workers, it can be the environment we find ourselves, our workplace, and the rest of them, right? It can be, discussions that come up, right? It can also be someone's attitude towards us, okay? It can be someone's response to what you said. So there's no way you can run away from triggers. Now, the thing is that how do you handle them? Okay, especially when it comes to, our children. These are people we cannot do without. We have them every day in, day out. They are there. So, and the goal is for us to raise children who are wholesome, children who learn from us. Okay, children we mold into beings that will become people, people in our society that will contribute positively in our society. So it starts with us because family is the first place they get to learn. Okay, excuse me, please. Okay, sorry about that. So now, why do we overreact? Why do we overreact when our children triggers us? For some people, they overreact. For some people, they shut down. Okay, they emotionally go numb. So why do we do that? The thing is that I believe we must have heard it like many times. Parenting is a deeply emotional experience. It's a deeply emotional experience. It's a job, like a full-time job, whether your children are adults. You cannot run away from parenting till you give up, like you take your last breath. So it's something that's always there. Now, it's deeply emotional. Things come when you parent, okay? Because sometimes their actions, that's our children's action, it turns up this, this reaction in us that most times we feel overwhelmed. I believe a lot of people can relate to that, right? They stir up this emotion, they bring up things inside of us that you get so overwhelmed. Sometimes you want to run away, you want to be on your own, you don't want to have them around. But the thing is that you cannot do that. So what do we do? Have you ever find yourself in such a situation, right? When your child does something, you snap, you yell, and it can be something just a minor thing, something that's so small, but we snap, we yell, we shout. We are not reacting to that child's behavior, action. There's something on the inside that we are reacting to. We are not reacting to that child's action. There's something else we are reacting to. And that's what I want to for us to deal with today. Those actions, it doesn't have anything to do with that child's behavior. It doesn't have to do anything to do with that child's. It's because of our unresolved. Remember the last time I said that trauma is not just trauma, it's about the unresolved ones, right? It's about that unresolved trauma in us that we've not touched, that we have not dealt with. Those are the things, their action, their behavior. We react. All right, okay. So the thing is that when they do things, when they say things, when our children, when they do things, when they say things, our nervous system, it's in charge of sending signal to the brain, right? Sending responses, sending signal to the brain and taking back responses to the parts of our body. That's what our nervous system does. So the first response is for this nervous system to, send signal to the brain. It's not about just the present moment, but about the past pain. So that's why we react the way we do. So when your child's behavior reminds you of your unmet needs, when we react, those behavior they put up, it reminds us of our unmet needs. Now, how do I mean? For instance, as a child, please, I believe I can be heard. Okay, so please, if you can hear me, just let me know. Okay, so when when our children expresses their emotions freely, that's what they do. You cannot, there's no way you can stop them from expressing their emotions. We can never do that. Now when they are upset, when they get angry, when they feel frustrated, they show their emotions. It's as simple as that. When they're angry, they show their emotions. When they're frustrated, because you're an adult doesn't mean that children don't get frustrated. They do. When they're angry, they show. When they're happy, they show. When they're overwhelmed, they also show it. So that's their way of freely expressing their emotions. Now, if you happen to grow up in an environment, in a space where your emotions were dismissed, like myself, right? Or you get punished for expressing your emotions, or go down. Okay, it's like so. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So if you
Yeah,
grew up in such an
I think
environment
the
where
network.
your emotions were dismissed, okay, can I be heard now?
Yes, yes, you can be heard, but I think the network, it goes and then it comes back. So I think we need to manage. We need to manage. So you can be heard. You can go on.
Ada just banyoze ya. You take your pictures. Yeah. Sis, your voice is breaking. Should I continue?
Hello.
Yes, please. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, you can. Yes, you can be heard. So please go ahead.
Okay, all right. So, like I was saying, where our emotions were ignored or dismissed, or we are being punished, for freely showing our emotions or expressing our emotions. What happens is that when your child does that, it triggers, because you were punished, it triggers that unresolved wound in you, in us. It triggers it. So you will become uncomfortable when you hear your child cry because they are tired, or they are hungry, or they feel overwhelmed. They can't even, say what's going on with them. Especially for the ones that can't talk yet, right? For some of us, we tell our children, "Oh, I didn't even hit you and you're crying. Let me hit you so that you have something to cry." Things like that. You feel frustrated rather than being compassionate. Now, all these things that I'm saying, I'm not saying it that okay, it's so easy to to handle, or so easy to do. But the thing with healing is that when you do it, you are conscious of your actions. You are conscious. Instead of reacting, you respond. Okay? Now, why we overreact? The second reason, remember I said that first reason is because our children's behavior, our child's behavior reminds us of our met needs. Now, the second one is when when you feel powerless. Okay, now for some people, I don't know if you've seen someone who the child will be crying, they'll just be quiet. They will zone out. They'll be there, but they are not there. Now, we used to have this security man, a young guy. So he got a young girl pregnant, and the girl's family decided that he must marry the girl. And his own family said, "You must marry her. There's no way we are going to leave that child away." So he had to bring her home, and they were staying with us because he was still working for us. Now they gave birth to that child, a baby boy. After from the hospital, they brought the child back. Now One day I was inside and I heard this baby screaming, like screaming, yelling out his lungs, crying. I was forced to. I was like, where is this lady? Is she not around? What's happening? I had to come down, enter their apartment, and she was there. She was sitting. She left the baby on the bed. She was sitting there, and excuse me, sorry. So when I entered there, I saw her, right, sitting on sitting on the bed while the child was on the bed crying. So I asked her, what's wrong? Pick him up. She said no. Feed him. She said no. She had not even given the boy a bath that morning. So I picked the child up, and he had already swallowed himself. And this child was like a week old. His umbilical cord has not even fallen off. So I picked the child, entered the house, changed his diaper, and gave him a bath, started, cleaning the umbilical cord and all that. It happened. I didn't know that they've not even named the child. So I asked, what's his name? She said, no, nothing. I don't know his name. I've not given him a name. A child that's almost a week plus. So I gave the boy a name. I called him Chinedu. Chinedu means God guides me, or God is guiding me. God is my guardian, or something like my guardians. So I named the child, and that was it. So in the morning, I will pick the child, bathe the child, you know, she will feed him. I'll call her to come inside the house so that I'll know that yes, that the boy is being fed. So in the evening, I'll bring the boy into my home, bathe him, for the night. And that was how we were doing it till they left. The guy stopped working for us. Okay. So some parents are like that. They zoom out, like they zone out, they become emotionally numb, they won't care for the children. They won't care. They don't want that stress, right? So the second reason why we overreact is we feel powerless. We feel powerless. So when we feel powerless, what do? We resort to control. We want to control that person because that's what we grew up with. That's what we grew up with. Now, when when if you grew up in a place in a chaotic environment, right? An environment that's not predictable. You don't know the next action. You don't know if they will give you boost. You don't know if you'll be, heavily punished. You don't know the criticism that will come because of maybe one of your actions or not. You you don't know what's coming for you, right? You don't know what's coming for you. Now, what it does is that it makes safety, it makes we controlling a situation or controlling people, it makes us feel safe. Controlling people makes us, I don't know if you've ever encountered someone who always wants to be in charge, always wants to be in control of your life, whatever you do, whatever you say. There's a way the person expects you to speak, there's a way they expect you to behave. When you don't do that, man, it would be something else. That's the way the person reacts because the person did not grew up in such a way. So they believe that okay, if my child acts out or talks back at me or refuses to listen, the only way I can handle that child is to control that child. Why do we do that? The reason is because when our child acts out, or when they talk back, or when they maybe they walk out because they are angry, you as a mother, you now start thinking, oh, this child is now growing wings. I'm not in control again. If I continue like this child will stop listening to me. This child will not listen to whatever I'm saying. That's what it triggers. Powerlessness. That's what we get. That's what our brain interprets. So what do? You start to yell. You start to you would want to punish that child so harshly so that whenever they remember what you did to them, how you reacted, what you did, they will not I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, right? So we do it so that we can demand obedience from our children. We want to be in control because you're the mother, you're the parent, you're always in control. Now we are doing that not because of their action, it's because that the bold resistance they are putting up reminds you of what you couldn't do as a child. It triggers that part of you that I couldn't stand up to my parents this way. I couldn't stand up to my parents this way. They overpowered me, they subdued me, and that's what you're used to. Now, when your another individual made up of a fusion of two DNAs of your child, when they stand up, it triggers that part of you that felt powerless then. And what do you result to? You result to being in control because you're already feeling out of control. For some people, if they don't react, they shut down. You see them, they go into their room, they lock up their room. They will distance themselves from that child. Some people go ahead to keep malice with their children. It's not because of that's the best, that's the way they know. You see a parent who will not talk to the child for days just because the child, stood up to them. Just because that child was bold enough to resist whatever they were pushing towards him or her. And it triggered that part of them that could not do that, that wasn't bold enough to do that. So that they feel threatened. The reason is because our nervous system, okay, so our nervous system goes into survival mode. Our nervous system goes into survival mode. Now, our reaction to when we are deeply triggered is is tied to our nervous system. When we are deeply triggered, our emotions they are being tied to our nervous system. They are the ones. It's the nervous system that sends the signal. Now, because we grew up in an environment where we had emotional neglect, verbal abuse, physical abuse, our brain had already learned or conditioned itself to react as if emotional threats were physical dangers. Our brain has already conditioned. So when they see something When our children, can I be heard? Okay. So when our children react, what it does is that the nervous system sends the message to the brain that danger, 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 right? Then we get ready for action because we are seeing our child as a physical threat, as a danger coming towards us. That's what our brain interprets for us. So what do? We get ready. We get ready for action. Now, there's this thing I call it for our responses. I call it 4F, right? We have the fight response, we have the flight response, we have the freeze response, and we have the fall response. I call it the 4S. Okay, so what it does is that when our brain sends the signal, right? When our nervous system, transmits, oh, pium, 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 and our brain responds. For some of us, we go into the fight mode. Okay, now, whatever it is, you start yelling because that's um, the coping mechanism you've learned, one from your parents and the one you've conditioned yourself to use. We yell, we hit, we punish them, and we do it immediately because that's what we are getting. We won't have time to think. Your brain goes into a fight mode because you want to be in control, right? Now, for some, we go into sometimes depending on the situation, we go into flight mode. What happens when the flight mode comes up is that for some people you see them walking away. Now, don't get me wrong, walking away when you want to learn how to respond, sometimes walking away works. Now it depends on what you do when you walk away. That's what makes the difference. Remember, I said for some people who shut down, when they walk away, their walking away means, oh, the game is on. Malice. I'll keep mute. I will not talk to this person for some days, for this person to know that I am angry. Now that's the difference. So some people walk away, some people you see them, they go into walk mode. They bury, I love using that word, they bury themselves into work. They will walk, they will clean the house, they will go to the office, they will bury themselves in office work. They won't want to have space to deal with that issue. So when the person comes back from work and the child comes out to greet, you keep a straight face. Oh, please, I'm busy. I want to tidy up this thing. You are reacting to that unresolved need. For some people, it's distraction. Oh, what do I do? Oh, they do what? For some people, I've met someone who loves to shop. So when she's angry, when her children triggers her or her husband, what she does, she enters the car. And there's money now. So she enters the car, goes to the nearby mall or look online just to distract. So when she gets a new bag or a new shoe or a new clothes, she's happy for that time being because that problem is still lingering. Now, for the freeze mode, for people that shut down, like that woman I told her story, or that young lady, they shut down emotionally. They shut down emotionally. There's a lady, a a pastor's wife. When her kids make her angry or are yelling, shout, how kids are, and it's getting to her, she will just, keep quiet. No matter, even if someone is being injured, that Maybe they're yelling, they're just, hey, mommy, this person has injured him or herself. Hey, mommy, see, oh, blood. What she will do is, because she has shut down emotionally, and when the noise increases, she's being angered. The anger is triggering that angry part. She will get up, whatever that she gets hold of, she will hit her kids with that because she's not in control of the situation, in control of her emotions, because it reminds her of her past. Right now, the fun response is when we become, you over apologize. I don't know if you've seen someone like that who apologizes like tomorrow no day. When your children does something and all right, just do it. Let me be. Just do whatever you want to do. Take whatever you want. Eat whatever you want to do. Just let me be. Just let me be. You give in to the demands of whatever that's going on. Just for you to feel safe. So these are the four types of responses we give when our children, when we overreact to the things they do. Now, the truth is that our children, they are not the source of of the threat. They're not the true source, but it is our past experiences. The problem it is not coming from our children. I want us to know that the children, they are innocent. They are waiting to learn from us. So it's natural for people to show their emotions. Now, I don't want to go ahead of myself, right? But I want us to know that what we perceive as threats, why we overreact is not the fault of our children. Okay. Now, the fourth reason why we overreact is because we carry our unresolved emotional baggage. We carry it as a bag. We carry it everywhere we go. The truth of the matter is we unknowingly project our fears, our unresolved wounds onto our children without healing. You know, you would think that you're doing it right, but if if assessment is being made, you will see that there's a whole lot of things that you need to change. So when we carry our unresolved emotional baggage, it can be maybe you grew up with a parent or parents who were so critical with whatever you did. They criticize whatever you do. What does that do? It makes you become overcritical of your children. It happened to me. So whatever they do, if you come into the room and they are not, they've not made their bed, I will start to say, oh, don't you know that you're supposed to? Oh, no, don't you know that you pick up your clothes? Oh, do your laundry? And we forget that sometimes these children, sometimes you're tired. You'll be like, okay, let me do this. That's the same way it is with them. So when if we grew up with parents who were so critical of whatever we do, you will become critical with your children. If you see a piece of shoe maybe lying around where it's not supposed to be, if it's something you can just overlook, you would want to speak of that because you want everything, because that's how you were raised. Even if it means maybe they were doing it right. Maybe they came into the house from school and maybe one of them, is pressed and he wants to use the toilet and they'll just fling their shoe, drop their bags and the person will be inside the toilet. You started shouting, who dropped this bag? Who dropped the bag here? Why are your shoes littered everywhere? It's not that child, it's that part of you that had gone through that thing before. It's that part of you that's displaying, that's speaking. You are carrying your emotional baggage. For some of us, we were made to feel like a burden. Okay, how do I mean? Maybe you you had a need, right? Let's say you were asked to get something from school and you come back and you tell your parents, oh, mommy, see, daddy, see. They said, and the parent goes like, why would you? Is it, are you the only one in that class? Why would I pay for such? Why would I? Every day, these children would, this school, they will be demanding. Are you the only child in that class? Anyway, leave it. If you don't do it, it's nothing. Let's say they are doing it a house sport and they've been asked to bring maybe 2,000 naira, and you, the child, when you continue complaining, the child will feel like a burden. Or maybe that was how you felt, in the past, growing up. That's how your parents made you feel. If you're raising your child, it will be the same thing. So when your child, when you felt, when you always feel like a burden to someone, you you might overreact when your child needs something from you. I'm saying this because it happened to me. Hello, sis, can I be heard? Right. Okay, so it happened to me. So when my children, when they come to me for something, it we do it unintentionally, we do it unconsciously. It's not because you don't want to give your child, what they need. It's not because you don't want them to feel what, to enjoy themselves, to have fun like other kids. It's because that was how that's how you felt as a child. So you unconsciously do the same to your children. But when I started my healing journey, I had to, at some point, pause. It's not this child. If you can afford it, why not? Because you can remember, oh, you wanted to have fun, but, you know, situations, circumstances happened. You would intentionally do that. Okay? So I would want you to, ask yourself these questions. You know, where does your child's whining, does it make you feel suffocated? So I wrote down these questions because that was how I felt, right? That's what healing does. It will make you to retrace your steps. It will make you retrace your steps. Okay, at this point, you put them down, right? So I had to intentionally put these questions down when I was, at that stage where I was dealing with this, how I react when my thing. So I put it down, and I want to ask that question now, so that we can go home with it. We look at these questions and we truthfully answer these questions. It will help you. I'm not giving you what I've not tried, right? Now, does your child's whining make you feel suffocated, right? Do you feel like you're choking, like you can't breathe in, you can't breathe, you can't have air while this child is, crying, needing maybe the child is angry, or the child is hungry, or the child is tired, but they do not know. Like my last child, if he's hungry, if you look at his face can kill a fly. Right? So when you make a mistake to send him on an errand in that, mode, ah, he might say no. He won't even talk to you because he's angry. So when I was still in that place, if I look at his face, I would even, mind. how his face looks like. I'll just tell him, Mona, go and do this, go and do that with authority. Do this, do that. And the child, he will be like, oh, man, because he's hungry, he's tired, he wants to eat. He doesn't have any strength in him to do what you're asking him to do. I will flare up. Like if he starts to react to, because he needs you to understand what he's going through. But I was in the place that I don't care. I'm in control here. You have to do what I tell you, when I tell you, and how I tell you to do that. So when I was going through my healing journey, I had to put all these questions down, right? So you ask yourself, does my child whining, does the way they murmur, what they do, does it suffocate me? Now the second question is, does their anger make you uncomfortable? I want you to genuinely ask this question. Does their anger, yes, they get angry. My children, they get angry. They get angry at me. They get angry when something is not going the way they want. They get angry if you make them angry. Does their anger make you uncomfortable? If it does, then it's a problem. If their anger makes you uncomfortable, then there's a problem because it's normal for them to feel. If we understand, if we are conscious of ourselves, we should know that for someone to be angry, it's okay. It's normal for somebody to get angry. You don't have to be angry because someone else is angry. I don't know if we understand what I'm trying to say. So that's the second question. If their anger makes you uncomfortable, that's a problem. Now the third one is, do you feel offended when they express frustration, when they say no to your request? Do you take it personal? Do you take it personal? For us to handle others, we need to learn how to handle our children. If we can get it right with our children, we can handle some, people in our place of work, in whatever meeting we find ourselves, in our place of worship, because you see people with different, personalities, people with their own emotional baggage, right? So when you can answer these questions and you genuinely answer them, and it stirs that thing on the inside that I really need to get help. That's it. That's it. Because like I said earlier, we cannot throw away our children. We can't throw them away. We are stuck with them. They might, grow up and, leave the house and have a family of their own. But the truth remains that you're still a parent, right? From time to time, you can call them up. They can call you up. Mommy can see what I'm going through. But now, what happens if you don't have that relationship with them? Will they be able to call you to tell you what they're going through? Because they won't, because that relationship is already strained. They see you as a control freak. They see you as a control freak. So there's no point calling my mother. There's no point calling my father. Instead of solving the problem, it might trigger the problem the more. That's what that's what will be going through their mind. So they would rather call somebody else. That goes to show that parenting, it has not stopped till you take your last breath. So, and as parents, I know how my mother feels when I call her to ask some questions and ask her to know what her opinion is in some. When we are done talking and everything, she'll be like, "Thank you for calling me. Thank you for letting me know what's going on." Right? If Time goes by, maybe for some, and I don't call to say, oh, Cece was on. She might call one of my siblings and say, what's wrong with Tony? Is she okay? Is she okay? This one I've not heard from her. So what's our goal? What's our goal? Our goal is to have that pure relationship with our children, right? That's what the goal is. That's what our goal is as parents. Now, I want us to talk about how how to respond, how to respond with affection, how to respond with affection, not with our wounds. I did not say how to react, how to respond. I know it's not easy. I can tell you, I know what it took me. I know what it took me. And, the thing with this is if you're doing it, explain it to your children. Let them know what's going on, right? Let them know what's going on with you. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Let them know, oh, okay, I'm telling you what I did. Okay, so when I started my healing journey, I called my children. I told them of what I went through. They know my story, right? So I told them, now I want to do it right. I do not want you people to go through what I went through. I want you to have, a childhood that when you remember, you will cherish it, right? You'll be happy that you did. It will be, memories that you cherish, that you will keep, you will hold on to, right? So I explained all these things. So I don't know if I mentioned it here. Sometimes they'll be like, "Mommy, thank you for healing. Thank you for going through your healing journey. Thank you for not raising us the way you were raised." Right? So when we respond with affection, it changes. It like is a game changer. When we react with our wounds, that's where the problem is. When we react with our wounds, that's where we hit the dead end with them. And come to think of it, the children we are raising now, the children we have now, these Gen Zs, they are something else, right? I believe the reason is a lot of parents want to do the right thing. We know that down there's something our parents did that we did not, and that's why peak parenting is here, okay, to get it right. We all want to get it right. But the thing is that, and if you're in peak parenting, kudos to you. Like there's nothing like having an accountability, you know, um, space, a support system that guides you. All right. So if you're watching this video and you've not joined a peak parenting academy, you're wrong. You're wrong. You are wrong. You know you want to make the necessary changes. You do not know how to do it. This is where Peak Parenting Academy comes in. They will give you this full support. They will give you a structure to work with. They will give you that support you need. So when you hit the dead end, you run back. Oh, this is how I did it. This is what I did. How do I? You're being held by the hand and you walk through it. Remember, parenting is it's a journey, and that's what healing is. So when when you want to do it right, you do not know how. That's where the thing is. So how do we respond? How do we respond with affection? That's what our children want, and that's what we want. Let's be truthful to ourselves. That's what we want. We want them to respond to us with affection. We want them to respond to us with affection. Well, how do we do this? Because they learn from us. We are the ones that will teach them. They learn from us. So the first step is to recognize why we overreact. It's a deliberate, it's an intentional thing to do. Why? It's very important to ask questions. Why? Why? Asking why leads you to the answer. It points you to the right direction because you want to know, you want to make some changes. You want to make some changes. So the first step is recognize why. Why do I overreact? Remember, I said that our goal is to respond to our children with love, with wisdom, with affection, and not to react. Right? So, what do we do? Number one thing is acknowledge your triggers. Do not wave them aside. When you overreact, know why. Acknowledge, oh no, I did wrong. Even if you don't admit it, immediately to the child or whoever you're dealing with within yourself. Tell yourself the truth. I did not do it right. I did not do it right. You've acknowledged. You've acknowledged. You've paused to acknowledge your triggers. Oh, I responded this way or I reacted this way because I wanted to be in control. I wanted to control my child's emotion. So when you acknowledge it, you ask yourself, why am I feeling, why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling right now? Am I angry? You're being emotionally intelligent. Am I angry? Am I frustrated? Am I overwhelmed? What am I feeling now? That's the first step. Now you go, what's this thing reminding me of? Because okay, for instance, when I was going through that, when my child says no to me, it reminds me of how my father behaved, reacted whenever I said no. So my child's action reminded me of things that triggered something on the inside of me. So a few seconds of awareness can help you separate. It can help you separate your child's behavior from, your triggers. It can make you say, okay, this is my child, right? This is my child. This is not my child, right? I'm just, illustration. This is my child. This is my child's action. You separate them. They are different people, different person, emotions, right? You separate it. Why? You separate it. It's not because of your child. It's not because of your child. It's because of something. What is that thing? So the second thing is you calm down. It's called self-regulating. You calm down to respond. That's what I normally use this one like very well. Right? I tell myself, when you calm down. And the thing with my children now is that if I'm telling yourself, calm, they'll join me. Mommy, be calm, be calm, be calm. So I've seen them do that. So when they want to reach things, they tell themselves, calm down. I use it a lot. Even not with them, with many people, right? You take a deep breath. It works. It works. When you're intentional about that, it works. Right? For some people, I've met someone who says that if they feel triggered, they find something, I gave them options and they said that the one that works for them is they'll find something to hold, maybe a fabric or something like this. They'll start. That's why you see people with stress balls, right? They'll just be doing it like this. So some people they find something to, feel, touch, just to be in the present. That's what it's doing. It makes you to be in the present. right? So the third thing is to look at your child's behavior. You reframe it instead of seeing your child as a manipulator. You see that your child wants something from you, maybe a hug, maybe the child wants to, connect with you. The child needs you to maybe pamper him or her. You won't see your child as a manipulator. You see your child as somebody that wants something from me. What's this child trying to get from me? So if the child is whining, the child wants your attention. If the child is crying, he's not being dramatic. Maybe he's hungry. Maybe he's not feeling fine. Maybe he's feeling maybe headache, but do not know how to say it. And the fourth one is how you respond. Is you when you heal your inner child, because that's the person that gets triggered. When you heal your inner child, you will give that your inner child that validation that your inner child did not get in the past. You give your inner child that love. You give your inner child that safety. That's what it is. So when you are triggered, I want to read it out. I asked it. Said, what would I have needed in this moment as a child? Because you're directing it to your inner child. What would I have needed at this moment? This child, this thing, what would I have needed? Would I have needed for my mom to hug me, or soothe me, or put me to bed so I can rest? So instead of reacting with anger, instead of shutting down, you give your child that response you needed. Apologize when needed. It's not a crime to apologize to your child. Apologize. You're modeling it to them. Set healthy boundaries. Set healthy boundaries. Set healthy boundaries. Very, very, very important. And just know that healing is a journey. I'll read this one out. Healing is a journey. But every step you take towards self awareness and emotional regulation transforms not just your parenting, but your entire family legacy. If you did not get anything today, just know this, that healing is a journey. But every step you take towards self awareness and emotional regulation transforms not just your parenting, but your entire family legacy. Yes, you're modeling it to your children, who will model it to your grandchildren, to your great. It's transferable. They transfer it down to generation, down to generation. It becomes a legacy, right? So let us do it right. Let us get it right. Let us get our parenting journey right. It will serve us. It won't do us a disservice. It will serve us, not just us, to serve the people around us, our generations to come. Yeah. So thank you today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Hello, sis.
Hello, sis.
Hey, sis.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you very well.
Okay, sorry about that. My network went off and
I
I
thought
had
as
to,
much.
find a way to come back. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for this insightful session. It's been really, really,
Yeah.
really insightful. And I believe that we are truly learning something. And these are still, we are saying that this is just some tips and hacks. That is why we are bringing to you this sorry. Yeah, hello. Sorry about that. So that is why we are bringing to
All
you
right.
the healing from unresolved trauma course. It's a course that we need as parents, okay, in our journey. We need to take our healing very, very seriously. I always say that we can always
Mm-hmm.
raise trauma-free children. Our children, we don't have to, bleed on our children. They didn't hurt us. They didn't cause us any pain.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to heal so that we can raise a next generation that is powerful, that is free from trauma. So thank you so much, sis. I
Yes,
really appreciate your time. And we will see
my
you again
pleasure.
next week. Thank you so much. We
Yes.
honor you. Bye
Thanks
bye.
for having me. Bye.
All right. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an hour and over 10 minutes. And we've been here listening to, this topic. I really appreciate your time. You can still share this link to other parents, who couldn't join. If you have friends, family that you think that they will need to hear this, kindly send this to them. So please send this link to them. You can share. This is a free class. You can share to them to learn. And please know that yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. So please know that parenting is a journey and healing is also a journey. You need to heal so that you don't pass on your hurts to your children. Your children don't need to go through all that we went through. I Yesterday someone sent a link to me about some, I think it was a prison that a certain, I've forgotten the name of the country. They put up a prison, and that prison has the very dangerous criminals in the world. Very, very, very dangerous criminals. Some are 20 years, some are 30 years, some are in their teens. And if you see how they've done themselves, like they've tattooed themselves, you could see how very wicked they are. You could, looking at watching that video, I was like, these people were raised by parents who weren't intentional. They didn't know what they were doing. They thought that they could just do anything else. So it's important when we look into the Bible, there are so many, figures, biblical figures who were really God sent, but they had issues just because they didn't take their parenting seriously. Just because they didn't, they thought it was all about God. I can speak to God. God hears me. I can hear God's voice. So I didn't really need to look at what I needed to do with my parenting. And it caused them a lot. Even recent times, we have examples, so many examples of pastors who are really doing the work of God, but they are getting their parenting wrong just because they are not paying attention. So please, dear parents, whenever I see someone, okay, whose life, like, it seems they have no hope, they are mingling with other, stubborn kids and all of that, I ask myself, so where were their parents? Where were their parents? I was listening to a session some time ago, and the person said that whenever he sees, whenever a child does something wrong, an adult does something wrong, and that person is arrested, they have to arrest their parents as well. Because in this society, when your child grows and they put up big, good behaviors, they receive awards, they mention their parents' name, their parents are also honored because they were intentional with what they had to do. So, in the same way, if you don't raise your child well and the child grows up, messes up, becomes, all of that, whenever that child is punished, you, the parent, has to be punished as well. And I think I agree with him. We need to be intentional. We are always, we all want to do the things right. We all want to raise our children right. But when it comes to doing the work that will give us the results that we want, we don't want to. We don't want to. So please, if you are here, just know that these classes that we are giving you now, they are just tips and hacks. To get the real thing, to get the real work, you need to join our healing course that is coming on later this end of this month. You need to join. And the early bird fees ends on Friday, 4th April. We are giving it out for just 99 cedis. After that, it goes up to 150 cedis. And I won't change my, I mean, the team, we've decided we are not going to change our minds. Once that date ends, we are maintaining the 150, and after some time, it increases again. Please, our healing is very, very important. Let us not take it for granted. Take your healing journey very, very seriously, because it's very important that you heal so that you don't pass on you don't pass on your trauma to your child. I would want to end here. Thank you so much for joining us once again, and see you next week for another exciting and insightful session. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.